There are several ways to get data into GEMS. The first is the easiest, and it works for files that are under about 2 gigabytes. And that is to go to your workspace, and you can go to the appropriate folder that you want. Here I have my workspace. Within my workspace, I have demo and desktop and other folders, so I can go into my demo, for example. And in this demo directory, maybe over there, I want to upload a file. So I can simply right-click on the folder that I care about, in this case demo, and hit upload to here. And here, you can either drag an item onto your desktop, or I can simply click in here to browse folders. And if I go to my downloads directory, and here I have a Kevin demo directory, I might want to upload this file, for example. It appears. Or likewise, I could upload multiple files if I wanted to. For example, I can select some of these other files. Shift, select, and have them all appear. The second method for getting data into GEMS takes a little bit more explanation. First, what I'm going to refer you to, just in case you want to refer back to this, is go to the Help menu. And a lot of this information we're sharing for you is in this Help menu. Here you see uploading data into GEMS. And we've covered in this document the first thing we just discussed. I'm going to get some tricky areas in just a second about saying endpoint locations of where I'm transferring from, where I'm transferring to. All right, this is this little tricky name. You're going to use something called GEMS UMN, #, and then GEMS _, and then here's where you fill in your information. So whatever your username is at that location, at GEMS in this particular case. So mine is cats@umn.edu. That's my user information. And yours is going to be whatever your username is at your university or your institution that you're logged in. And your other endpoint might be a special endpoint given to your machine. You'll actually have to go to Globus and type in Globus personal endpoint, and it'll give instructions for how to install Globus endpoint software onto your machine. And then you could transfer from your machine to your workspace on GEMS. Or what I'm going to do is I happen to have an institutional address at MSI, the supercomputing institute that I work, and I'm just going to transfer data from there to GEMS just to show you how to do this. Let's go back and actually do that, because I know it's going to be so much easier rather than me talking blankly that you can actually follow along. The first thing I'll do is I'll type globus.org, and what you'll see is an opportunity to log in. Well, I'm going to log in, and notice I don't have to type in my authentication credentials because I'm already logged into GEMS, which authenticates via Globus, so therefore I'm already, quote, logged in. And sure enough, I'm here. What I hope you'll see is this 2-panel commander type interface where you can transfer things from one location. I'll always do that from the left by convention to another location. And that's where I want to transfer things. But sometimes you'll end up with a single panel interface like this, and it's really a lot trickier to figure out how to transfer things that way. So I always like to click up here to this 2-panel interface. Okay? So remember, I want to transfer over here to the right to my GEMS UMN address. So I do GEMS UMN with a #, and then now I do GEMS _. If you've logged into it before, it'll actually give you lots of choices of things to complete with. Remember that I said it should say your username, so that's cats with an @ and I can see some good completing. Here's exactly what I need: GEMS UMN #GEMS _cats @umn.edu. And I'm already logged in through Globus, so I didn't have to authenticate. All right. If I had picked the wrong one, it would say log in and authenticate as a different user. And if you don't know their password, well, you won't be able to get in. On this side, I have the information for my endpoint, my Globus endpoint on GEMS. On this side, this would be the place to put the address for your personal endpoint on your own computer. Or in my case, I'm going to do my UMN MSI. It happens to be home. That's our address at UMN MSI. And so I'll click on this one right here. And now I'm logged in. I had already logged in today, so it remembers my password information for MSI, and I'm logged in at my MSI computer. Now I want to transfer a file here, and I'm going to go page down to, I often have a temp directory where I put in lots of extraneous information. And sure enough, here's my temp directory. And I'm going to transfer from my temp directory a Python file. This is a agdata.py. And all I do is I select the file, or I could select the folder or multiple files by hitting Shift. And then notice up here, it says start the transfer with an arrow facing that way. If I wanted to transfer in the reverse from GEMS back to MSI, I could have selected over in this pane. But right now, I'm transferring this file. So let's start it. The thing about Globus is it's expecting you to be transferring very large files. You would use Globus in situations typically where it's more than 2 gigs of a file that you want to transfer. This way, it could actually run in the background, run overnight, however long it would take. And then by the time that you would get an email that it would notify you that things are ready, then you can go check. But this is a tiny little file. So if we actually check back here and we refresh the list, then we'll see I saw agdata.py. There it is, right up here. I had forgotten I had done it at the top folder, but I could have put it into my demo folder. You could have clicked in here and transferred into here, but I happen to have done it at the top level. I've successfully transmitted it. I'm sure I have an email back that I could read later if I like, but the data has been transmitted. So that's Globus, and there's one more method that you can transfer data into your workspace. You can go back to GEMS, actually back here. And this, if you are not familiar with Unix, I wouldn't pay attention to the rest of this, because what I'm going to show you is just for the folks who are familiar with Unix and they like to work within that space. You can transfer lots of files quickly if you know Unix. So just to let you know that through the Analyze menu under Jupyter Lab, launch that. It turns out you can open up a terminal. So 2 ways to open up a terminal. I'll just go here and click on the launcher and click on the terminal. Wait for that. There's a terminal. Another way, of course, is I could go to File, New, Open a Terminal, and then that would open yet another terminal. Within here, I can check out what's there. I can change directories into my demo folder, and then I can use the secure copy or SCP command. So my credentials at MSI, I know that it's in my temp directory. There's Python files, and I want to copy it to this current directory. And since I had already used SCP earlier today, it didn't even ask for me to authenticate, and it copied all 4 files, just like that. Here are these last 4 files I just transferred today, just now. And there's the one that we transferred earlier.